Hey everybody, Mike Turnquist here, Group 4610 EXP Realty. We are going to be talking about the timing in the market and what the cost of waiting to buy your next home is, or even some situations where buying right now would probably not um, be a great idea. But I've invited the man, the myth, the legend, the expert on almost all things in the world, but especially the numbers and the hard facts of purchasing property. So, Mr. Greg Gale, how you doing today?
Look at that intro. You're super sweet, man. I love it. Yeah. And I'm doing good, man. We're wrapping up the year. It's been a good year. I think 19 is going to be a year to get more market share. And it's a year of opportunity. And I think, like you said, it's all about knowing the numbers, right? It's knowing, like, am I making the right decision? And if you can pencil it out, write it out, have a professional like yourself in the area that really knows the market and can dive in and see, and maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's not. But without the numbers and the facts, I don't know if I'm making the right decision.
Yeah, true, true. There's a lot of fear going on in the marketplace, and just, I call it water cooler talk. Everybody's got a work buddy that knows everything there is to know about real estate, and half the time they're totally wrong. So that's why I like
A lot
getting
of misinformation out there. I agree. I
yeah.
agree.
So as we all know, rents are increasing. I kind of have a chart on that. So let me show you guys the chart.
Well, what percentage is rents up in your area? Oh, there it
Well,
is. Median
let's just
asking rent.
if
Whoa, dude, that's a big
okay,
line.
so now you see it. Great, great, great. Okay, so let's just calculate, let's just figure, the typical 3 bedroom, 2 bath house. Say you're paying $2,400 a month, which actually is kind of on the low side for a single family residence. I mean, that's almost $29,000 a year.
Wow, that you're paying someone else's mortgage or cash flow situation.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then this is your chart right here. I really like this one. This kind of goes into the numbers here.
Oh, there it is. Look at that handsome
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, this is a really cool chart, Greg. Thanks for putting this together because it really talks about housing is appreciating. And at the same time, which is almost even worse, interest rates are going up as well, right?
It's been the
Tell us
hot
a little bit
topic,
about these
right?
numbers.
Yeah, I mean, look, the economy's better because rates have been going up. It's something that it's been held down for so long, and we've been very blessed in our industries that rates were so low for a while. And look, historically, over, I don't know, call it 3 decades, we're still low, right? Back in '05, '06, you're at 7, 8%. Back when you hear the story like, yeah, my parents are at 18%. It's true. But if you look at the numbers, we're still low, but you're seeing them go up. And I've done this chart now for 3 years running. And so this is the third year we've put this one out, and the predictions are always spot on. So you'll see these are the average rates that we're seeing and predicting through Fannie Mae, which is the governing body of mortgages. So they're dead spot on. And then you gave me the information because you're in tune with your market, assuming a low 3% appreciation, right?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we don't have a crystal ball, but predicting 3 to 4% appreciation. And you'll see we used a home value of a little bit over 400, 450, 500,000 right there. So
Mhm.
depending on what price range you're looking in, these numbers could be even greater.
Yeah, you can pick it, right? So if I said it, instead of a $500,000 house, you look at $1 million property, that 3% appreciation changes. So, in this, just to sum it up, you see in 2018, if I go up to 19 or 20, if I don't buy the house, if I look at that same house next year, it's going to cost me another $13,000 to buy the same house. If I was able to buy it right now, and I was in a position to do so, then that equity is mine next year. And I now have an asset that has made me $13,000. The other thing we have to talk about in that scenario is if I did get it today, my mortgage payment would be for just the loan, the 2,347. So call it 2,300. If I wait a whole year, and as predicted, Fannie Mae, which they have year over year, that's the rate, then I'm going to lose out on $373 a month in payment, meaning buy the same house next year it's more expensive and my payment goes up by $370 a month.
That's a car payment for a lot of people right there.
Let's just do the numbers. So over a year, that is $4,400 times that by average person stays in the house 5 to 7 years. Let's just call it 7. It's $31,000 that it's cost me in interest to delay out another year because I'm wondering about the market.
Yeah, and that's why timing is really difficult to like actually time the market, because while you're timing the market, you're just throwing away your money in rent versus getting in and stopping the bleeding. I mean, a lot of people we hear, well, I should have bought, I missed the boat a year ago. Well, according to this, you're better off now, and you will be next year if you go now versus if you had bought. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I'm not.
And this isn't, this stuff isn't to pressure someone to do anything they don't want to do. It's more that I don't want them mad next year that they re-signed a lease, come back to me and say, dude, you never told me that.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm literally putting it in writing so they can see it and have tangible numbers. And you and I can run these numbers at any price point. So if anyone sends us, we can run real numbers exactly to the area of town that they're in and give them precise, here's what it is now, here's the prediction for next year, and here's just what you would gain like in equity, right? So if you looked at going to 2020, you're now at $27,000 in equity and almost $500 a month in payment. That's a lot.
It's a big difference.
Now, look, there's sometimes where you're like, man, I just don't, maybe I'm not in a position, have the wherewithal, I've got to rent. I get that. I just want to make sure they have the information. Maybe it's someone's like, hey, my job might be relocating me to North Carolina. Okay, then maybe now's not a time. Now, I could argue that one where it'd say, well, you don't know what's going to happen. So if you want to get the house, you don't want to renew the lease. Now you have an appreciating asset sitting here that you then rent out with a rent increasing market. Now I have a cash flow asset. When I do go to move to North Carolina, I either sell it and gain the equity, or I have a cash flow property, and then I go get a house out in North Carolina.
Yeah. So that would be different ways to think about if it is not in your best interest to buy right now. Like there are some people, if they're not going to be in the house very long, they might not be able to recoup that cost. But maybe they're not qualified. Maybe they got some credit issues or something like that. I mean, what do you do in those situations?
Yeah, and I have that too. I mean, we have an internal credit services department to our company at Nova that's complementary to the consumer, that will analyze the credit report, provide a prescription and a timeline. So it might be a 9, 10, 11 month process to get the score up to where it needs to be to qualify. And we get that, but we invested in our own company to create this department that all they do is analyze credit all day long. So within 24 hours, we give a prescription, and then you and I can do a consultation and say, hey, it's going to be about 6 months. So let's put you in that 8-month rental, 9-month rental. Let's negotiate that lease for you. And then we'll start shopping around then and get you in, and now you'll be okay. There's times where it just doesn't work. It's just, again, knowing the numbers. And like, if someone said, well, my rent's around 2,500, well, you and I can back into the numbers and say, well, that would be this purchase price based on keeping that payment. So I can keep your payment the same. If you want to only be around 2,500, what house does that look like, price point? And then you can then say, here's some houses in the area that you're looking that fit that. Is that good for you? If it's not, that's okay. And then we put a plan together, said, well, you need to save this much money to get down. You need to, maybe we can get a gift. Maybe you need to just earn some more money. We at least know by running the numbers and having factual information.
Yeah. Knowledge is power. I also come across people that say, hey, I don't have enough down payment, or I don't have money for the closing costs.
Yeah. Well,
and that's really what holds people back.
Some people, there was a statistic that I saw that was like 63% of people think it's 20% down or more. So if it's a $500,000 house, like you mentioned, that means they need to have $100,000, and they're just like, whoa, I'm renting. I don't have $100,000. What they don't know is there's 0 down loans. There's 3% down loans. There's 5, 10, 50, there's any multiple that you want loans out there for people. And that's where we come in to say, hey, here's all the stuff that's out there. But there's a lot of products out there. We're about to launch 100% financing conventional loan, which would help you with those $500,000 purchase prices. And it's pretty, like, I've been looking, we're one of only 4 banks in the country that will have it. It's pretty ridiculous.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then on the closing cost side, I've been very successful in the past at getting those paid for, oftentimes by the seller. You know, in order to,
great track record for that, man. I compliment you on that.
yeah. So, well, very cool. Well, Greg, I really appreciate your time. I think we threw a lot of information out here in a short amount of time, but definitely reach out to us if you guys want to know a little bit more about your personal situation, on how you can get out of the rental trap and get into owning the home, right? And we'll help you figure out if it is the right time or we need to wait or whatever, but it doesn't cost you anything.
Correct. It's a complimentary consultation. We don't charge for credit pulls. We don't charge for the consultation. We don't charge for the credit services to investigate your credit if need be. It's a total consultative approach, but running the numbers, for me, it's a numbers game, and I want to make sure you have the right information. So all my information is on the flyer, and Mike will post that in the feed, and so you can reach out to us. My website's on there, thegaleteam.com. Mike, how can they get in touch with you?
Pretty easy. You can just Facebook message me or call or text. All my information is on the Facebook page or YouTube page or our website. Over here at Group 4610. So
virally you send this stuff out, they can contact us.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find.
All right. Well, cool, Mike. I appreciate your time, man. And thanks for having me on.
Okay. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.